But Shanice said if she doesn't stay away, what's going to happen, basically? What's going to happen? And Shanice put Leslie on notice, saying she might not have seen the real Shanice yet. And I think Shanice might be more of a storm for Leslie than she's expecting. What is up, everybody? Here to talk about today's episode of Beyond the Gates, the November 20th, 2025 episode. I thought today was a really good episode. I would go so far as to say that it was the first episode this month that I really feel was November sweeps worthy. We had some good confrontations all throughout the episode, which is something I enjoyed to see. There's still one thing I kind of have a problem with, and that is with the way they're writing the Bill and Hayley storyline. But we'll get to that last. I think we should probably start where we left off yesterday, with Martin overhearing Kat saying that she wishes Eva was aborted, basically, and everyone else would be better off. Kat kind of plays off Martin's confrontation, saying that Eva wants to be her understudy and she won't let Eva take her man or her life. And Martin in this conversation is trying to get Kat to get a grip because Eva is just trying to find a place for their father in her life and wanting a place in their father's life. And that Ted is the original sin of this all, which I'm glad Martin at least tried to point that out. It's what I've been saying about the situation. But Kat doesn't think that Eva should get a pass for infiltrating every part of their life, and does tell Martin that Eva climbed in bed with her boyfriend Tomas. I thought early on in these confrontations, a lot of them were making good points. I have been saying that the fact is that Eva just has been trying to have a relationship with her father. And this is one of the things that annoys me with some of the Kat stans in the comments or just on Twitter, that they act like Kat is not ridiculous for wanting Ted to choose between daughters, now wanting Martin to choose between sisters. It's asking a lot, but especially with the Ted situation. When, in yesterday's episode, Eva and Martin basically called Kat a big baby, I thought that was the best description of Kat with this situation. I have never said that Kat needs to, well, I might have said it, but I don't think I've said it, that Kat needs to accept Eva as part of the family, or more importantly, that Kat needs to develop a relationship with Eva, as many have brought up good points in the comments, that the way they were introduced as half-sisters, Kat shouldn't want to develop that relationship. But something Kat does need to do, instead of being a big baby, is accept the reality of what's going on. Eva's not going away. Ted is her father. And they're going to develop a relationship, and she's kind of in denial about it. Martin is then saying that there might be a trend with Kat where she's just so flippant with her mouth, which is why Samantha overheard her talking about her virginity, and now the things she's saying to Eva. I didn't like how Martin was using that as part of his argument with the problems going on between he and Kat. I still think Martin blew that situation way out of proportion. But, you know, like proper siblings, that is what Kat is doing in these entire scenes, both yesterday and today. Now, Kat did need to confront Martin for talking shit behind her back yesterday with Eva. And Kat should feel as though Martin shouldn't be doing that with Eva of all people, with the problems going on between her and Eva. And the fact that Kat and Martin did grow up together, and they've been these siblings for so long, and here's the new half-sister on the block. Kat, of course, took it too far in saying that he's doing this for political reasons and that he just wants to make nice with Eva for his constituents and to get votes. But then Kat decided to leave before she said something she would regret to Martin, which of course she couldn't do that with Eva and never can. When Kat left, Martin tried to apologize on Kat's behalf. Eva's just glad that Martin continues to call her sister. And Eva made probably the best point of the episode, that Ted is all of their fathers. And as absent as Ted can be in Martin's life, Ted does seem to try with both Eva and Kat. Martin did also confront Eva if they share a boyfriend in the whole Tomas situation. And Martin wasn't buying that the Tomas and Eva sleeping together had nothing to do with Kat. Eva said subconsciously Kat does make her feel less than, and maybe she was trying to, I guess, fill more of her worth with the whole Tomas situation. And before we get into the Kat and Chelsea scenes, this continues to be my problem with the feud overall. The Kat and Eva feud anyway, is because, in my opinion, and I believe I'm right about this opinion because of the history of not just soap operas, but TV in general, when there is a feud, the best feuds need two things. And if the feuds don't have the two things, they're not good and they eventually completely fall apart. Either the feud needs someone that is clearly the person you're supposed to root for and clearly the person you're supposed to root against because one is the villain and one isn't, which is something that I don't think this feud has. I know cast stands will be up in arms and say that's not the case because Evil Eva helped cover her mom's crime, but also Kat is just not innocent in this situation. She really is so flippant of the mouth. But going back to what makes a good feud, I don't think that this feud has a hero and a villain. But you don't need that in a feud. The other thing you can have that makes a feud good is both characters have to be written very well with layers to the character, and that's what's missing from this. They don't both have to be heroes, and they're not. But if both were being written better, I think the feud would come off better to the fans, and the fans wouldn't be up in arms about the writing. But instead, they crippled the feud with the whole Tomas triangle. Both characters became very stupid because of that triangle, and they both have looked bad for months. And I've been sitting here talking about that for months now, and I feel like it's been many months, like 4 or 5 months, when they started developing the feud moving into the triangle with Tomas. Both characters come out looking bad, and that's why there is a lot of hoopla and uproar about the writing for the story. Now, Kat was looking for Anita, but she got Chelsea instead. And, you know, they are supposed to be besties. Kat told Chelsea everything that was going on, overhearing Martin and Eva talking about her, the confrontation, saying too much to Martin. Chelsea rightfully pointing out that she had no problem saying too much to Eva. Kat wanted to know if she really is just a total bitch, and if basically saying she wishes Eva didn't exist and that she was aborted was going too far. What I liked about these scenes is that Kat admitted that Eva gives her nonstop rage. Something else I've been saying is that Kat is developing anger issues, and they're coming across clearer and clearer with the whole situation. But what I also liked is that Chelsea was trying to get Kat to come down to reality, which is what she needs, which is why that's what's going to take her out of not being a big baby with this situation and face reality. Chelsea said that maybe it's not about Eva necessarily, maybe it's about Kat, and that the fact that Ted put Kat on such a pedestal growing up, then now that she has to give a sliver to attention elsewhere, she can't handle it, which is true. Now, I didn't like that Chelsea was still trying to make Kat want to develop a relationship with Eva. I still don't think that needs to be the case. They need to help Kat just get over the situation. Now, I get it. It wouldn't be a soap opera without the tension in the situation. But if the writing just continues to go in circles, it's not going to be good for either character either. So either Kat does have to develop a relationship with Eva, or she just has to get over it at some point. But at this point, Kat doesn't know if she can develop a relationship with Eva. What I think might happen with the writing is something's going to happen to Eva, and Kat's either going to get blamed for it, or she's actually accidentally going to do it, or she's going to do it on purpose. And if it's the latter, the Kat fandom's going to have a fit, because they're not going to be able to say, well, Eva covered up attempted murder for her mother, when Kat might attempt some murder. Now, I don't think Eva's going to die. That would be crazy. But something might happen to her before the end of the year. That's kind of what the over dramatic writing has been showing me. Now, today I also loved a lot of the Leslie and Shanice stuff. Leslie was being a total wreck and talking to Peaches at the beginning of the episode. Peaches is not in the ICU anymore, but she's having this big hacking problem, and Leslie's busy blaming the doctors. Leslie doesn't understand how she can't throw her newfound money around to get the best help for Peaches, and so she confronts Shanice over this, who is trying to get through Leslie's thick skull that she can only do so much without getting doctor approval, that Peaches already had morphine just a while ago and she can't have more without doctor's approval. Leslie wasn't having it, but Shanice wasn't having it with Leslie, which I like to see. Leslie broke down to Ted over Peaches' condition, but Ted does have good news that he was able to talk to a friend about getting Peaches involved in a local trial to take a new drug or something. And Leslie is happy he did this for her. Ted makes sure to say that he also did it for Eva and it wasn't just for her. And then when they're hugging, Chenise is watching Leslie and Ted hug. Now, after Ted and Leslie gave Peaches the good news, Ted still tried to make both Leslie and Peaches see that there's no guarantees and it might not be this life-saving drug for Peaches. I'm thinking Peaches might die, and then maybe Leslie will go even more off the deep end. I don't know, but that's kind of what I see. But right now, Ted is allegedly liking the new Leslie, so maybe they are still making Ted and Leslie be closer and closer. But then at the end of the episode, Leslie confronts Shanice in Leslie style, telling her to stay away from her man, that Ted is spoken for by her. But Shanice said if she doesn't stay away, what's going to happen, basically? What's going to happen? And Shanice put Leslie on notice, saying she might not have seen the real Shanice yet. And I think Shanice might be more of a storm for Leslie than she's expecting. Now, I do think at the end of the episode, they make Leslie a little too cartoony sometimes. Like, I wish they would make the character of Leslie take things more seriously. I think it would help her from becoming too much of a caricature at times than a villain or just an over-the-top entertaining character that doesn't necessarily have to be a cartoon all the time. But unfortunately, Shanice's threats at the end of the episode kind of became more of a cartoony reaction from Leslie than something more serious like I would have enjoyed. But some soap operas have a tendency to go onto the campy side of things. Last things to talk about. I'm not loving the writing for the way Hayley is trying to poison Bill. Like, clearly the show wants to stretch this out with the whole slow poisoning thing. But the way they're going about it lately, just making Hayley look like a bumbling idiot with the way she's trying to poison him, is probably not the best way. I would enjoy more so Bill starting to have the effects of this poison. I think that would give us better tension than Hayley almost poisoning Naomi, like in today's episode. Naomi also almost overheard her talking about killing Bill to get the $10 million payout. She did hear the part about the $10 million payout. And then when she was about to drink the tea, Hayley slapped it away, which you would think would be very odd. But then Hayley has the excuse that Bill is sick. But then in the conversation with Naomi, Bill, and Hayley, Clearly, he just had a tickle in his throat and isn't exactly sick. So, will Naomi think about that harder? Because Naomi has a lot of information on Hayley right now, but apparently not. Naomi came over to apologize for Jacob confronting Bill about the birth control excuse of Hayley's, that she's taking birth control to help her hormones to have a baby, which I still contend that any guy who actually wants a baby would question Hayley's excuse about the birth control for that. But apparently Bill doesn't want to do that because they want Bill to be written as very dumb when it comes to Hayley. He is just way too accepting that Hayley loves him so much. But okay. And then Bill accuses Naomi of avoiding her own problems in her relationship with Jacob, and she's just projecting right now. But Naomi apologized, but did bring up the $10 million payday that Hayley was talking about. Hayley played it off as Bill's just going to win $10 million in a case for the firm. But I do think at least the $10 million thing made Bill want to look at his life insurance policy and see if it has been tampered with or if it's still there. But he got distracted by calling Dani because Dani is still on her honeymoon with Andre. They've just been lounging around in the hotel room every day this week. They had more love connection scenes today, more about their rings from yesterday. And Andre's saying that they're going to put their love and connection first and that Andre loves to be loved by Dani. And I'm just saying how this relationship is going to hit a wall in the new year with the Bill stuff. I hope Andre and Dani fans are ready for the time when Dani is helping Bill in some way with the Hayley situation and they are getting close again because it's on the horizon. Dani might break Andre's heart like Bill broke hers. But I'm hoping the show is smart enough to set it up into a triangle with just those three without Hayley involved. I think it would be the first successful triangle on this show since it started. But anyways, Bill called Dani today because he's clearly worried about Dani being on a honeymoon with Andre. His excuse was a very poor excuse that he wanted to plan some Winterfest stuff with her. She says they have so much time for that. It doesn't need to be discussed right now. Bill then says he has something to say to Dani, but he played that off as well. Clearly the conversation did not go the way Bill was hoping. I don't think Bill likes the fact that Dani and Andre seem very much in love now. And so that distraction kept him from actually checking his insurance policy. And he's just talking a big game with Hayley again, how he wants the town to take notice about what a special girl she is. Meanwhile, she's handing him more poison tea. And that's how we end today's very good episode of the show. I've rambled on a lot today, so I'm going to bow out, hoping tomorrow can be as strong as today was. I know Fridays are usually filler Friday with this show. I'm hoping that is not the case this week for once. Give us 2 great episodes in a row, please. But I just know I'm going to see Ashley at the beginning of tomorrow's episode and I'm going to be groaning it up. Or Vanessa. Ugh, I don't even want to think about that right now.